Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing the current state of VR in Microsoft Flight Simulator and looking ahead to the future. This video is specifically intended for those people who are thinking about making the jump into VR, but they're not really sure yet. So you may own the simulator already and you're playing it in flat screen mode, or you may be kind of thinking about buying the simulator and not sure whether to go into VR or not. You may have seen a lot of news or information about VR and is it worth it and do I need the best PC to run VR? All these kinds of questions. I hope to kind of answer them in a way and give you guys an idea of what to expect now and the future in VR on the PC. Firstly, let's take a look at the state of VR as it is now. VR currently tends to run quite well on most people's machines, especially those with medium to high-end GPUs. However, there are lots of limitations. People have been struggling with all types of problems in VR, from bottlenecking to unreliable performance, to drops in frame rates or even unreliable frame rates, random crash to desktops, headset errors linked to the sim. There are numerous errors happening with VR at the moment. However, over the past few months, both the Quest 2 and Revo G2 have seen much better optimization, and we're all hoping this continues. Although there are some limitations on how PCs are running VR and MSFS, it still is acceptable. I do believe the good outweighs the bad. Now, it's very easy for me to sit here and talk about how amazing VR is using a 3080 graphics card. And I understand that a lot of people don't have access to this, and I was lucky to get mine in the first place. But I did run the simulator really well on a 2060 Super until I upgraded in January 2021. So despite all these limitations in terms of the way the sim acts in VR, and the way that the sim is running on PCs, it still is a real breakthrough in VR in my opinion. Since we've touched on some of the limitations of VR and MSFS, let's have a quick look at the strengths. Like I said earlier, it does work well enough to run on most cards with a decent performance. It is amazingly immersive. When it does run, that's the thing, when it does run for people, it really is the ultimate flight sim experience in my opinion. The major reason I think VR is the ultimate flight experience is because you are so immersed in the environment, and I love the fact it's a recreation of the actual globe. So when I'm flying around different areas of the world, it's actually a real representation of what I'm seeing. So in VR, it really feels like I'm there. So one of the main reasons for using VR in the sim is the fact that the immersion just beats anything else. You can see some people have amazing setups with flat screen and they use all the different panels. I think that's really cool and I respect that. But I do think that VR takes it to another level of immersion. I do wish that VR headset providers would let people try them out. So if you could go to a center or something or go to a shopping mall and try out these headsets with the simulator on a good PC, the line will probably be 20 deep, but at least people could see what it looks like and try it out themselves before buying it. I understand it's not the cheapest hobby to get into when using VR. So we've had a brief look at the current status of VR with all its limitations and the problems that people are having, but also I've looked at the strengths of VR and how people are running it well and what it actually does for the experience of the sim. So I do believe that the state of play now is that VR is in a transition and it is in development. So it's definitely a good time to get into VR at this point. Now turning towards the future of VR in the sim, and as we all know, there's a big update arriving at the end of July. So we're all waiting with crossed fingers and crossed toes to see how much of an improvement this update is going to be. Like I said in my last video, the development team did mention that the performance will be improved both on flat screen and in VR, but we're yet to see the actual improvements. So there's no confirmation of exact details of the improvements. They haven't given us an exact amount of improvement, if you like. That's because there's so many variables and so many different PCs, so many different setups that they can't simply say you will receive this amount of FPS improvement, etc. Again, it's going to matter about your PC setup and the way you run the simulator. I personally think the sim is going to get better and better in time, and I know the developers are putting a lot of energy into making these improvements happen. I just want to take a minute and give the developers some praise and just celebrate how far VR has come since it has been released in December 2020. We've seen some definite optimizations happening, and my biggest improvement, I think, would be the reliability in the sim and the lack of crash to desktops and the lack of bugs in the sim when using VR, especially with the Quest 2. I know I keep going on about it, but the Quest 2 really does perform so much better than it did even in January. So it's not just the developers of the sim, but the headsets are also adapting, and it's really good to see. So the future's definitely bright for VR in this sim. And the last thing I want to have a quick look at is Is it a good time to get into VR for MSFS? My personal opinion on this is yes, there's never been a better time to get into VR with this sim. However, you need to understand that after the update's released, which I can't give you any details yet of because I don't know, but once it's released and we see the benefits of the update, I think over the next 10 to 15 months, we'll see drastic changes in performance and clarity in VR. I think the sim can really push these headsets to their limits, and you can really see the true potential of VR coming out in the future. So if you're thinking about getting into VR, but you're not sure based on all the rumors, all the videos you've seen on the internet, all the forums you've visited with the complaints about VR, people warning you off VR, people saying, don't touch VR, it's a nightmare. Take all this with a pinch of salt because it does depend on your PC setup, the headset you've got, the way you've set the simulator up on the PC, the way you run the PC. There's so many factors in how you can make this sim run well. I think if you have a really strong interest in VR, it's definitely worth getting into it now. I've got friends who don't use VR in the sim, and I always try and explain to them how much better it is in VR in terms of immersion and just the fact that you're flying over the world and everything's around you and it's just you're in it, rather than being on a flat screen away from it. It's just a different perspective, a different way of seeing the sim. I understand that getting into VR is an investment, but I think it's an investment worthwhile, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how things develop over time in VR. So if you are one of those people who are not sure, I hope this video helps you kind of think about the reasons for and against getting into VR at this point in time. Again, I will be keeping you up to date in terms of VR development over the coming months. If you're interested in looking at some other VR content, I highly recommend checking out VR Flight Sim Guy's channel. He's got so many reviews looking at different headsets. He's a really experienced YouTuber, so you can learn a lot from him. Also, the VR Pilot. He's got an excellent channel with lots of different tips and feedback based on VR. So I hope other YouTubers, as well as myself, give you enough information to make a judgment and sort of decide yourselves on what you want to do in terms of taking the leap into VR. You may have heard rumors about the update or about the Xbox release, which to my knowledge will not include VR at this point. I appreciate a lot of my subscribers know all this already, but I just wanted to do a quick video for those of you who are on the fence or who are new to the channel or new to the actual content. Anyway, guys, I hope this helps. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button to receive future updates from my channel. Just to let you know that I will be releasing episode 2 of Your VR Questions very soon in my new series. I hope you enjoy that. In the meantime, everyone, take care and stay safe.